Matric results day.
Right.
It's a huge moment. You've spent 12 years working towards this, and then suddenly there it is on a screen or a piece of paper.
Whether you're celebrating or, maybe thinking about a recheck, that single moment brings this massive question. What now?
Exactly. And the feeling can be so overwhelming. We figured you need a shortcut to some clarity, not just more noise and confusion.
That is our mission today. We've gone through the sources to really tackle the two biggest things you're facing. First, the practical side, the logistics. How do you get your results quickly, securely from the DBE?
And second, the big one, the strategy. How do you take those symbols on a page and turn them into a real, actionable plan for your life?
We have the confirmed steps for getting access, and then a really solid guide on the 3 main avenues you can take, plus a framework for actually planning a career.
It's all about giving you a factual foundation so you can move forward with confidence. Okay, let's unpack this. So let's start with that immediate high-stress moment. When and how do you actually see the results?
The when is, well, it's pretty predictable. It's always mid-January.
Right.
But the exact date changes every year, so you absolutely have to watch for that official announcement from the Department of Basic Education, the DBE.
And on that day, the system is under enormous pressure. I imagine the old ways of finding out are just not reliable anymore.
Not at all. The sources point to 2 main methods that are actually built to handle that national traffic load.
Okay, so what's method number 1?
The first, and honestly the most reliable for getting detailed marks, is the official DBE app. It's free, it's on Android and iOS, and it's designed for one purpose.
And it's pretty straightforward to use.
Very. You download it, you register with your 13-digit ID number and your exam number.
Yeah.
And that's it. Your results, your detailed marks per subject are right there.
But, we have to consider accessibility, and not everyone has a smartphone or a stapled data connection. What's the plan B?
And that's where the SMS service is so brilliant. It's a really practical, low-tech solution.
How does that work?
You just text your 13-digit ID and your exam number to 35658.
That's simple.
It is, but there's a crucial detail. It usually charges a small fee, so you have to make sure you've got some airtime on your phone. A lot of people forget that part.
Right. That's a good tip. Okay, so we've got access covered. Let's pivot. What happens in that moment your heart sinks because the numbers, they just look wrong?
The sources are really clear here, and I think it's important. The first piece of advice is, do not panic. Errors can happen.
So what's a first concrete step someone should take?
The very first move is to contact your school or your exam center. They're your direct link into the DBE system. They can give you that initial guidance.
And if you're certain something's wrong, you can ask for a recheck.
Yes, you can formally apply for either a recheck or a full remark. A recheck is just them adding up the numbers again. A remark is, well, it's a completely new person marking your paper from scratch.
That must take time, though. What if you have a university acceptance deadline breathing down your neck?
That is such a critical question. And the advice is you have to be proactive. You apply for the remark immediately. There's a strict deadline for that.
And then you call the university.
You immediately communicate with any institution you've applied to. Let them know you've officially applied for a remark.
Yeah.
They often have processes in place to hold your spot provisionally. Communication is everything.
And I'm guessing paperwork is key.
Absolutely. Before you start anything, get your exam number, your ID, all your documents together. It just saves so much time and stress.
Okay, one last piece of admin. The actual official certificate, the paper copy. How do you get that without spending days in a queue?
Thankfully, that has moved online. You go to the eGov website. It's the central hub for South African government services.
So you just register and request it there?
Exactly. Log in with your ID, submit the request online. It's all managed digitally. No queues needed.
Fantastic. So we've moved past the adrenaline of getting the numbers and handling the logistics. Now we can get into the strategy of the future. Here's where it gets really interesting.
This is it. Because those results, they're not an end point. They're a starting point. They're an opportunity.
And the sources lay out 3 main paths forward.
That's right. 3 primary avenues. And the key insight is that your choice has to align with your interests, your goals, and, your financial reality.
So let's break them down. Avenue 1 is the traditional path. Pursue further education.
Yes, and this is about specialization. The source material talks about high-demand fields like finance, marketing, business management.
But study is such a broad term. It's not just about 4-year degrees anymore, right?
Not at all. And this is vital. You have everything from 1-year certificates to diplomas to full degrees. And Institutions like TVET colleges are fantastic for practical, hands-on skills that get you into the job market very quickly.
So it's about finding the right level of qualification for what you want to do?
Precisely. And how you want to study. Full-time, part-time, distance learning.
Yeah.
The flexibility now is incredible. Modern institutions know they have to offer options.
And the sources mention that some qualifications are internationally accredited. That seems like a huge plus.
It's a game changer. It means your qualification has value not just here, but overseas as well. It opens up a world of opportunities.
Okay, so that's Avenue 1. What about Avenue 2? Start working immediately.
This is a really valid strategic choice, especially if you're not sure what you want to study or if finances are a concern.
The advice isn't just to take any job, though.
No, absolutely not. The suggestion is to treat your first job as paid research. Find an entry-level role or an internship in a field you think you might be interested in.
So you get to see it from the inside.
Exactly. You see the day-to-day, the culture, the reality of the work. It's the best way to find out if it's truly a good fit for you before you commit years to studying it.
And that brings us to Avenue 3, the gap year. The sources have a pretty strong warning here.
A very strong and, I think, necessary warning. A gap year has to be productive. It cannot just be a 12-month holiday.
You risk losing momentum.
You risk losing all of it. That discipline, that rhythm of learning you've built up for 12 years, it can just evaporate. The key is having a clear plan.
So what does a good, productive gap year look like?
It could be volunteering, traveling with a purpose, taking short courses to explore an interest like coding or design.
Yeah.
Or even working to save money specifically for your studies. It's about a planned pause, not an empty one.
So choosing between those three paths really comes down to knowing what you want long term. And that's the hardest part of all.
It is, which is why the sources give a really simple 3-step process to cut through the anxiety.
Step 1 is just list your interests, everything, no filter.
Get it all done on paper. Then step 2, you refine it. You look at that list and ask, which of these am I actually skilled at? And which would I genuinely want to do as a job, not just a hobby?
And step 3 is where reality comes in.
A huge dose of it. Research career options based on that intersection of your skills and interests. But, and this is the critical insight.
You have to look at the job outlook.
Yes. You can't just ask if the job exists now. You have to ask, will this career still be relevant in 5, 10, or even 20 years?
With AI and automation, that's a more important question than ever.
It's essential. You have to look for qualifications that teach you the skills technology can't replicate. Critical thinking, complex problem solving, creativity. That's where the long-term security is.
And the sources mention one more thing to consider beyond just the job itself.
A lifestyle. It's a mistake so many people make. They don't think about the kind of life they want. Do you want a stable 9-to-5? Or are you looking for something more flexible and entrepreneurial?
That choice has a massive impact on your happiness, probably more than the salary.
Way more. Your ideal lifestyle should be a huge factor in your decision.
Okay, so to wrap this up, we've covered the immediate logistics, getting results from the DBE app or SMS, how to handle rechecks, and getting your certificate online.
Then we moved into the strategy, choosing between further study, starting work, or taking a planned gap year.
All of it anchored by that 3-step planning guide. Know your interests, know your skills, and research the long-term outlook.
And if you do choose to study, remember to look for those key features. Tech-rich learning, networking opportunities, flexible payment options. Those are the things that prepare you for the modern economy. So what does this all mean?
That's the question.
It means the stressful part is over and the opportunity is here. We talked a lot about researching career relevance 20 years from now, but given how fast things are changing, here's something to really mull over. Maybe the most essential skill you can pursue isn't a specific field at all.
What is it then?
It's the ability to apply critical thinking and synthesize knowledge across different fields. The most valuable qualification might just be becoming a masterful learner, because that adaptability, that's the only skill that is truly guaranteed to keep you relevant for jobs that haven't even been invented yet.